Well, good morning, my friend. Welcome to the Pastor's Podcast this Thursday morning. Good to have you along with me. I'm coming from my home office today, and I'm getting ready to take a trip down to Gainesville, Texas, to preach down there for tonight. Tomorrow, I'll be back late Friday night and early Saturday morning for soul winning at the church, and looking forward to that. Had a good day yet last night in church, and excited about what God's going to do in our church. We're just about a week and a half away from getting into the new auditorium. Had a pre-final inspection yesterday. Still have a couple more to go, with one with the fire marshal, one with the final inspection. Then we're in the auditorium. It's looking very good. We start putting the chairs in next Monday and moving everything over. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what God's going to do at the church. And I'm going to be a great year. If we can get in there in February, oh my word, we have room to grow, and we can start really starting to get that seat, that auditorium packed out and seeing what God can do. I'm excited about it. Then the Spanish church can move over to the present auditorium, give them more room to grow. And I'm excited. In 2023, churches can grow. I promise you. You just have to work. You got to have faith. Got to go soul winning. Boy, that's what it takes. Now, on that note, want to encourage you to come and join me at the OPAS conference this year. And I'm looking forward to a great conference, what God's going to do. And I promise you this, if you come, you're going to find that there's some things that you can learn as a pastor, as a lay person, to help your church to grow. What we've done here at Maranatha Baptist Church, any pastor can do anywhere. So I want to encourage you to come, be a part of the conference, opasconference.com. Would you register there? And we look forward to having you come. If you have any questions, text me, message me, give me a call at the church. And we'll do anything we can to help you and to make the trip a whole lot easier. We're only 20 minutes from the airport. And so you fly into Oklahoma City, even if you get in at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, you still have plenty of time to get to the church for the first night. So I would encourage you, you come, be a part of the great conference. Looking forward to what God's going to do. Well, today I want to talk about I did not know. In Hosea chapter 2 and verse 8, the scripture says, "For she did not know that I gave her corn and wine and oil and multiplied her silver and gold, which they prepared for Baal." Now, one of the sad conditions I see in relationships is mentioned in this verse I just read. Hosea's wife said that she did not know that it was her husband that gave her corn, wine, and oil. Now, my question for Hosea's wife is this: who did she think was providing all these things? That's the craziest thing. You see, do you think that things just appeared in your house? This lady didn't realize her husband had provided all of these things because she took it for granted what he had done for her and the family. It was her taking him for granted that caused her to go back to her old life of sin. But once she got back to that old life, she realized what her husband had done for her. Now, the mistake that Hosea's wife made is often made by people in their own marriages and relationships with others. We are often blind to that which seems to be right in front of us, right in front of our face. Husbands and wives take for granted what their spouse does for them instead of noticing what they have done and being appreciative of it and thanking them for it. Many children take for granted what their parents provide for them, and often become ungrateful for the provision when they should be thankful for their parents' provision. Many employees become ungrateful and gripe about what their boss is not doing for them, when they should be thankful that they have an employer who's willing to keep them employed and to give them a paycheck every week. There's a lot of church members who overlook the blessings of their church and become ungrateful for a church that reaches souls, sees people saved weekly, and gives them a great place to raise their family. Sadly, many Christians take God for granted for what God has provided for them. And instead, they gripe about what they feel that God has not done for them. Now, my friend, we must be careful that we don't become ungrateful about what we do have. If you never expect anyone to do anything for you, everything that others do for you becomes a bonus. Now, one of the problems that we have is that we expect everybody to give to us more than what they're already doing for us. We must be careful not to become ungrateful for what we have and for what others do for us. You see, anybody can be ungrateful for what they have and for what others do for them. But it's those who are grateful for the kind acts of others that make the most out of their relationships. You see, one of the best words that can be said to anyone, ready? Thank you. Sadly, because we're ungrateful about what others do for us, we rarely thank people for what they do. Now, are you grateful for what others do for you? Or do you gripe about what they don't do and what you don't have? Do you look at your spouse, what your spouse does for you, and thank them and for them caring for you, ladies? When's the last time you thanked your husband for paying the bills, making a mortgage payment, making sure there's money for the groceries, making sure everything around the house is covered? When's the last time, ladies, you've really stopped and considered all that your husband does for you? Ladies, when's the last time, or men, when's the last time you stopped and looked at all that your wife does for you? She does the laundry. She cooks the meals every day. There's times when she's sick, she still cooks and provides for you. She makes sure that the house is clean. She makes sure that everything's kept for around the house. And now, when's the last time you thanked her? Children, when's the last time that you thanked mom and dad? When's the last time you looked at they provided you a house? They've given you clothing. They've given you food on the table. They're providing an education for you. They got you in a good church. You're in a safe environment. When's the last time? Instead of griping, when's the last time? Do you look at what they provided for you throughout the years, or do you gripe about, oh, they're not perfect parents? How about you? You see, here's our problem. We're a lot like drug addicts. I want you to listen to this statement. Drug addicts think that everybody else around them is the problem. They say, this person doesn't do this, and this person didn't do this, and this person treated me this way, and this person's everybody else. That's a drug addict mentality. And the drug addict can never fix their addiction because they're always wanting to blame everybody else for their situation when their situation is of their own choosing. And many times we get ourselves in a bad situation in life because we want to blame our spouse, we want to blame our parents, we want to blame our boss, we want to blame our pastor, want to blame the church, we want to blame God, when we put ourselves where we are by our own choosing. Now, until you take responsibility and realize that all that you do have, don't take it for granted. This wife of Hosea's wife, she had to go to the bottom of life to finally wake up and say, man, my husband really took care of me. Do you need to go to the bottom of life before you finally wake up and realize what you have? Oh, my friend, too many times our ungratefulness robs us of the blessings that we do have around us. And can I tell you, at some point, you got to stop acting like a drug addict. And at some point, you got to say to yourself, I am blessed with what I have. And the only reason I'm in this situation when you become ungrateful is because it's your own choosing. Why don't you stop and think about everything you have and thank God for it? And say, boy, I'm glad I got a church. I've got a pastor. I've got parents. I've got a spouse. I've got a job. I've got a God who has given me many blessings. Stop and take time to thank them for it. Stop being ungrateful, because your ungratefulness is going to lead you down to the bottom of life like a drug addict. And you'll end up at the bottom of life blaming everybody else, miserable in your own pile of mud that you created because you were ungrateful. My friend, let's not be that way. Let's be careful. Let's watch ourselves. Let's be grateful for what we do have inside of life. And when we're grateful, we can be good stewards of everything that God has given to us. Well, my friend, I hope this is a help to you today. Now, let's remember today, be good to everyone Everyone's having a tough time. Have a great day, my friend.